Angelique. Left ventricle is very bad at the moment. Over the months, he should recover at least partially a good function. That's what we hope. The mitral valve was extremely big and tissues very fragile, but it put in a big size valve. So it will be more than enough for the rest of her life, even if she becomes 90 kilos.
The function of the heart was bad, and if you replace the valve, you are not sure that then the heart will react well and that the child can make it.
Unfortunately, they had very bad situations, both in terms of their cardiac valves and, even more important, the heart function that was already very compromised and depressed. Hopefully they will recover completely and be able to have a normal life, or a nearly normal life.
I'm going back to Rwanda. You're going to stay here with the doctor, okay? They'll treat you well and look after you. I'll be waiting for you.
Bye. I would like to spend more time, but unfortunately I have to go back and continue my work in Rwanda. We have still many patients who need cardiac surgery. Some of them have developed complications in the meanwhile, and I lost one of them. I hope that we can keep sending kids to be operated at Salam Center. We need to continue also to work on prevention. Every time a kid has strep throat, he has to go to the health provider to get antibiotic. If they have access to penicillin, will prevent the complications. All of them, they have mechanical valves. And the post-operative period will be probably difficult. They have to keep strong.
As soon as we get home, I'm going to oil my hair. The boys will go crazy when they see me.
Sweetheart, can you see me? Are you at home?
Can you show us?
Lift Angelique up so her father can see her.
Hi, Angelique. Be brave and strong.
They are excited.
She's showing you where she was operated.
There's no bandage.
Hello, Angelique.
Hello.
She's still weak.
She still looks sick, but she'll get well again soon.
I'm fine.
Are you recovering well? You want to stay there? It's great that you like it.
They say that they will stay there.
Okay, if you like it so much.
ngaho mubasezereho rero. Bye bye, bye bye.
Bye.
Karame.
Bye.
To be honest, I wasn't sure that all the Rwandan patients can make it because they were very high-risk patients. But I can see all of them are smiling, doing better. That is a nice surprise.
If the engine starts working properly, then it's really impressive how big the change can be in very, very short time.
When your heart beats faster, the machine works faster. My heart sounds like the grasshopper in our garden.
Marie had the surgery and everything was perfect at the beginning. The problem is that we saw something at the last follow-up. Malesh, we go there, okay? The valve that has been replaced shows a little defect. Marie, listen. There is a small problem that we want to check a little bit deeper.
baza gukora eko ariko itameze nk'izindi nyine zidasanzwe ku buryo uzasinzira uzasinziriye hanyuma barebe uko byifashe.
Okay. There is another thing that I have to tell you. But it's better that you stay with me for a few days more. Did you understand?
You can't go home tomorrow.
Hey, it's okay. Dai, Marie, hey. There are no problems.
She wants to know if you will operate her again.
If we need to repeat the operation, it's not a big operation like before. She must not be afraid. Dai, Ciccia. Okay. Oh.
We're all very sad.
Then we will put you in bed.
People have told me that if I need to be operated a second time, I won't survive.
They're finished examining her. The doctor said we should go and visit our friend. Marie, you have to eat something. You can't live off medicine.
Don't cry, okay? Marie, sit up and eat something.
Marie, please try and eat something.
I want to go home. Marie, they told us you can go home on Monday. Don't lie. Is that what the doctor said?
It's the truth. The doctor said it. We were there. You're only staying here a few days. Be brave. Now sit up and eat something.
Are you going to eat the bread too? Is today Thursday? And they'll let me go on Monday?
We're your family. We wouldn't lie to you.
Hang on in there. We'll be waiting for you.
Bye, Marie. You'll feel better soon. I'm sad I won't see you so often anymore, but I'll write to you.
Take care. Bye.
We know that we are just planting seeds. I got no idea if not even one of those seeds will become a tree. But at least what we have done is done. Those who were lucky enough to come across our facility, they had good treatment and free of charge. One hospital in a continent, it's like a speech in the ocean. So I hope that in coming years there will be some replication of this model. And maybe this will be the start of a positive loop.
Cardiac surgery is not a priority for many countries of Africa because they are still fighting with malaria, tuberculosis, HIV. Many politicians are not aware of the magnitude of cardiovascular diseases. So we have to work hard to convince them that this is the next step to work on. I know that it will take a long time, but I'm optimistic with the future.
I hope you were strong and brave there.
What did you make us eat? I've put on some weight.
I want to go to school again.
I want to be a doctor. I want to help cure people the way I was cured.
Angelique, you've grown.
God is great. I promise to get down on my knees to thank Him. Give me a hug. Marie, you're home.
You can make the sauce as long as you make the pasta.
Emergency started because there were so many ongoing conflicts, so many civilian victims, and all this happened in countries where medical or surgical facilities were virtually non-existing. For many, many years, we only did war surgery. We did it in Rwanda, we did it in Iraq, we did it in Afghanistan, and we started thinking about medical profession, not as a business, but having to do with preserving life or improving the quality of life. We should keep a secret that we've been using a Chinese pasta machine. God knows what will come out. Noodles, probably.
I hope not. Well, not because I don't like noodles.
When we decided for the project in Sudan, the idea was to have a center based on certain principles. Not only quality, but social responsibility. Patient arrives here, he has nothing to pay, and after surgery will have drugs from this center free of charge for all the life. This is an example of what a hospital should be, a no-profit institution.
Ready?
More or less. Why should someone make profit out of the fact that we are sick? I always thought that the role and the objective of a doctor is to ensure the well-being of the population, not to make sure that they're sick enough to make me rich. Unfortunately, most governments have gone the other way around. I mean, health is one of the best business in the world. Rosella, has no stability whatsoever. No.
Wait.
No, the problem is that we are wasting pasta. Can we change the menu?
We can.
Spaghetti with meat sauce.
How are you? Good? Are they giving you oxygen?
This is just to humidify the...
She told me you said she's not allowed to have salt.
You know, I was fighting with Angelique in the airplane. When they gave her the food, she said, "No, there is salt." I said, "I'm your doctor. I allow you to eat." She said, "No." My God.
You oxygen?
This is just to humidify the...
She told me you said she's not allowed to have salt.
You know, I was fighting with Angelique in the airplane. When they gave her the food, she said, "No, there is salt." I said, "I'm your doctor. I allow you to eat." She said, "No." My God. They are doing well. That's good.
When are we going?
Excuse me?
When are we going?
Soon.
Marie is a 17 years old girl. Mitral regurgitation is massive, is very severe.
I'm very dubious about the feasibility of repairing this valve.
Marie has suffered very badly from this condition, but I know she's getting treatment now. I hope that she will get well soon and return home. I am afraid that Angelique won't make it. If she dies, I will go there. What else can you do if you lose a daughter and you're all alone?
Yes. Ciao. 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 Oh, we are a little bit drunk. Yes.
Normal then. There's a huge left atrium.
Yes.
Really huge. My God, the heart is coming out of the chest now. I don't even know if it makes sense to try a repair. Okay, start bypass.
Okay, pump is on, you start.
You can purge the cardioplegia line. I don't even know if it makes sense to try a repair. Okay, start bypass.
Okay, pump is on, you start.
You can purge the cardioplegia line.
Okay. Cardioplegia line is coming.
30 degrees. As soon as we start bypass, the heart has become half of the size.
Okay,
The aorta is closed.
Close down.
Ice cold water over the heart.
It's running.
Please.
Yep,
Stop.
Stop when we have a flat line.
Okay.
this flat, okay.
Flat, good.
Questo di qua.
Good. Okay, we are replacing the valve. 28 minutes.
28, yes.
Closing the left atrium. Prepare the defibrillator. Charge at 10 joules.
Is ready?
Can I go?
Yes.
2 grams. 0.5.
Okay.
Pulmonary pressure is low.
Gino, you have a left side that is...
Gina, it was a
Wait.
shit heart before we started. It's going to be a shit heart now. To see the results, we have to be patient and wait a few months. Thank you very much. Angelique, left ventricle is very bad at the moment. Over the months, you should recover at least partially a good function. That's what we hope. The mitral valve was extremely big and tissues very fragile, but it put in a big size valve. So it will be more than enough for the rest of her life, even if she becomes 90 kilos.
The function of the heart was bad, and if you replace the valve, you are not sure that then the heart will react well and that the child can make it.
Unfortunately, they had very bad situations, both in terms of their cardiac valves and, even more important, the heart function that was already very compromised and depressed. Hopefully they will recover completely and be able to proper health care. Is a universal right. My right to health care as European cannot include a CT scan and sophisticated diagnosis and so on. And the right to be cured for an African stops at the level of a couple of vaccinations and a few antibiotics. And that's where the idea of establishing centers of excellence in Africa came up.
Angie, they're taking blood so they can test it. It will be just a little prick, all right? Be brave, okay?
Wow. Angie.
Angie, well done.
Angie.
Was the first time. How do you feel?
Good.
You're an excellent blood donor. See you soon.
Most of your patients are coming from where?
Well, they're coming from everywhere. This was what was agreed from the very beginning with the ministries of health of Sudan and neighboring countries. Since we don't have the possibility to build many centers, let's move the patients as much as possible.
Yes.
Sudan is in a very strategic position. No other country in the world has got 9 neighbors. And it's the largest African country, so it looked rather interesting to establish a center there, open from the very beginning to people coming from abroad. This is the one that was done this morning. And by chance, the former Minister of Health was very much enthusiastic of this idea, and he supported it very much at government level. Put the mask on, we have a look inside where we are. Good morning. With a center designed for 1,500 cases a year, we are now temporarily, I hope, stepping down the number of operations because we have to solve some financial problems.
Yeah, I understand.
We need to increase our financial resources to continue to help patients, particularly small kids. It's a big challenge, but I think it's worth.
It's it's really ambitious.
I think this is a unique hospital. A lot of attention was paid to the impact of the environment. The clinical part of the hospital is completely sealed. We have done open heart surgeries.
Just like the other children. Are you pleased?
Yes, I'm pleased.
Louise was good at school. She was in second grade, but she got weaker and weaker. She used to love to dance for hours, but now she has to stop after a while. That makes me sad. She used to love to dance.
When I'm grown up, I want to dance and become a proper dancer. When I'm well again, I want to train and join a dance group.
Marie, be strong, be brave, just as you have been. You'll be homesick and miss us, but don't worry too much before the surgery. Have peace in your heart. You'll come home as good as new.
I've been sick since 2003. It started when my legs and my stomach started to swell up. I was coughing blood.
I used to be a cattle farmer, but everything has changed since my daughter fell sick. My wife has much more to do. It's been difficult, but I have to do what is best for my daughter.
I'm going to Sudan. I'm very glad I will be treated there, even though I will miss my parents.
Hey there, good morning. How are you? Do you want to say goodbye to the children?
Today, we are traveling with 8 patients to Sudan to be operated. This is really a good opportunity for me because I'm going to meet the local team in Salam Center for the first time to establish a relationship and send more patients in near future. Marie-Claire, c'est bien. In Rwanda, we don't have a permanent cardiovascular surgery center. And of course, we have many patients who need cardiac surgery. Allez, gars. Okay. We do have many acquired heart diseases, among them rheumatic heart disease. Rheumatic heart disease starts primarily by strep throat. When the strep throat is not treated by the antibiotic, in general it's penicillin, It can induce complications and the heart can be affected. It can damage the valves. I'm one of the 2 pediatric cardiologists in the country. I'm working in a public hospital. It's difficult for me to manage all those patients, but I try to do my best. Claire, it's my obligation as doctor, but also a personal commitment. This mitral valve is incompetent. It is thickened, so when it is closed, there is a big hole. If we don't send this child quickly for surgery, she will have more and more heart failure.
Has she been suffering these fainting fits for long? Or not long?
All the patients can't have the chance to be operated at the same time.
We're putting together a medical report for Sudan, okay?
I have tried to choose those who were in critical condition comparing to others. You know, sometimes when I go back home, I spend many hours thinking about my patient. This stay is going to be a bit long in a country far from theirs, so it's hard. I'm going to Salam Center just for some days. So we have nurses who are going to stay with the kids who speak their mother language. Angelique, ngwino tujyane. Wowe turajyana. Yewe turajyana. Sibyo? Sibyo? Okay.
Louise, ujya umenya Angelique? Azajyayo gusa.
So this is our intensive care unit. It's 13 normal beds. The vast majority of our patients, about 70%, are valvular patients.
I'm going to meet the local team in Salam Center for the first time to establish a relationship and send more patients in near future. Murekatete Marie Claire. Sibyo?
ariko se mwese muzi ikijyanye abana banyu ntabwo mukizi twarabibasobanuriye kuva mbere hose ntidushobora kugira umubyeyi.
We've explained to you why your children need to make this trip. Unfortunately, it's not possible for you to go with them. That would be too expensive. There isn't enough room for you all to stay with them. You can accompany your child to the airport and the check-in.
This stay is going to be a bit long. In a country far from theirs, so it's hard. I'm going to Salam Center just for some days. So we have nurses who are going to stay with the kids who speak their mother language. Angelique, ngwino tujyane. Wowe turajyana. Yewe turajyana. Sibyo? Sibyo?
Louise, ujya umenya Angelique? Azajyayo gasa.
Was the first time. How do you feel?
Good.
You're an excellent blood donor. See you soon.
Most of your patients are coming from where?
Well, they're coming from everywhere. This was what was agreed from the very beginning with the ministries of health of Sudan and neighboring countries. Since we don't have the possibility to build many centers, let's move the patients as much as possible.
Yes.
Sudan is in a very strategic position. No other country in the world has got 9 neighbors. And it's the largest African country, so it looked rather interesting to establish a center there, open from the very beginning to people coming from abroad.
This is the one that was done this morning.
And by chance, the former Minister of Health was very much enthusiastic of this idea, and he supported it very much at government level.
Put the mask on, we have a look inside where we are. Good morning. With a center designed for 1,500 cases a year,
we are now temporarily, I hope, stepping down the number of operations because we have to solve some financial problems.
Yeah, I understand.
We need to increase our financial resources to continue to help patients, particularly small kids. It's a big challenge, but I think it's worth.
This center is really ambitious.
I think this is a unique hospital. A lot of attention was paid to the impact of the environment. The clinical part of the hospital is completely sealed. We have done open heart surgeries here while outside there was a sandstorm and not one grain came inside.
Eat, Marie. It will make you strong.
It's delicious. The food is good.
You can clear the table. We've eaten enough.
Angelique, eat. Just a spoon for the camera team.
It is closed. There is a big hole. If we don't send this child quickly for surgery, she will have more and more heart failure. Has
she been suffering these fainting fits for long? Or not long?
All the patients can't have the chance to be operated at the same time.
We're putting together a medical report for Sudan, okay?
I have tried to choose those who were in critical condition comparing to others. You know, sometimes when I go back home, I spend many hours thinking about my patients who are not doing well. Medical doctors, we are humans and we have strong empathy to our patients. If we see a patient dying because it's too late to do surgery or because it's not possible, it's very hard for me and it has an impact on my personal life. Especially when you know that something could be done to save the patient.
She's in a lot of pain and coughs a lot at night. She has to take medicine all the time, or she will die. I fought to get her well again, and even sold my house.
If she gets treatment and gets better, we will praise God. In the months when we're not with her, we will thank God that she's getting treatment. It's preferable to suffering with her here.
Don't worry. You'll be home soon.
I'm glad to be going there.
Could you bear it if I gave you a goodbye kiss?
I'm excited to be going there.
Acceptable to you and into this world. We thank you and magnify your name, for we pray in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. Thank you. And sit down. As we sit down, I want to invite our CEO to give us a word of welcome and also introduce all the guests that are here. Welcome, Dr. Victor John.
Our chief guest, CS, ICT, Innovation and Youth Affairs, Mr. Joe Musheru, Chair of the Board of Directors of KUTLH, Professor Olive Mugenda, members of the hospital board, members of hospital management, invited guests, members of staff, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning once again. Asante. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome our chief guest, the board of directors, and all our invited guests to this occasion as we officially launch the KUTRRH Medical Innovation and Accelerator Hub. Our chief guests, kindly allow me to acknowledge the following visitors and participants. I'd like to acknowledge our chair of the board of directors, Professor Olive Mugenda. I'd like to acknowledge our board members, Mr. Kivinji Kiragu, okay, Mr. Munyoki from the university, Dr. Alfred Karagu, and I'd also like to acknowledge Professor Kiama from the University of Nairobi. Thank you. Professor Hiram Deritu. Okay, I was forgetting one board member, Mr. Victor Momani. Professor Hiram Deritu. Asante. Dr. Henry Rotich, Director of Meteorology. Yes. Thank you. Dr. Mudhoni Tonjira from CEO Philips. Dr. Mariam Gadogo, BOC Kenya. Mr. James Masitsa and Mr. Cliff Oso from Mindre. Mr. Anthony Dinga from Laborex. And from QET Limited, Prince Munene, Alex Mbaka, Hilda Karimi, and Christine McKenna. Asanteni sana. Mrs. Beatrice Odual from Robisearch. And from the clinical area, Mr. Paul Move from Mathare Hospital. And from representing Nairobi Hospital, Mr. Samson Mwangi, representing the CEO of Nairobi Hospital. Asante sana. As a hospital, KUTRRH, we have three main mandates. The first mandate is clinical excellence, and we have strived very much to achieve that. As a facility, we have 650 bed capacity. We take care of COVID patients, we take care of all other non-clinical cases. And Chief Guest, you can recall that barely 4 days ago, we launched our Center for Specialized Clinics, where we want to introduce other services. We had a plan for operationalizing the hospital. As you realize, our Chief Guest, we are barely 1 year in operations. And the plan was initially to fill in the first 160 beds, and then we move on to fill the full capacity of 650 beds. Of course, we all know that the COVID epidemic came and affected a lot of operations in the country, and therefore we had to shift a bit and focus on the COVID situation in the country. And as an institution, we have played a key role in managing COVID pandemic in the country. So as from last week or last 2 weeks, we had to start the other operations, move on to phase 2 of the operations, and therefore we had started our specialized clinics. And our chief guest, I can assure you that now we already have specialists handling many other aspects of clinical care, in addition to the oncology services which we continue to offer. So ladies and gentlemen, every single Kenyan deserves the highest attainable standard of health. Healthcare that is not only timely, but also evidence-based. KUTRRH acknowledges the fact that such evidence-based, patient-centered care can only be attained through cutting-edge innovations. Today, therefore, marks a momentous occasion as we launch the Medical Innovation Accelerator Hub under the Directorate of Research, Innovation, and Entrepreneurship. It is in a bid to achieve the mandate of delivering premier healthcare services that KUTRRH has started the Medical Innovation and Accelerator Hub to drive innovation and entrepreneurship in the area of medical diagnostics, therapeutics, devices, equipment, and medical services. The hub will provide a transformative program that will enable spotting good ideas and innovations in the medical field, to evaluate them, admitting and providing a quality support ecosystem for the incubatees, and accelerating the whole innovation process from viable ideas to impactful products and services. The accelerator aspect of such products and services is meant to ensure that they are an income-generating avenue for the incubatees as well as the hospital. All this will be done for the transformation of the healthcare sector in Kenya and the whole region. Ladies and gentlemen, the hub shall operate on a patient-centric research model that shall support basic research and clinical trials that will lead to medical innovations. The research and innovation remain in the DNA and the architecture of KTRL, and today marks just one milestone in the plans set in place regarding research and entrepreneurship. The work has just begun with the launch today, and we now want to move on to build the infrastructure to support research, innovation, and entrepreneurship. Our dream is to continue serving Kenyans by offering world-class, evidence-based healthcare interventions to them. Our chief guest, now kindly allow me to invite the Director of Research and Innovations, a renowned innovator in his own right, to make some brief remarks. Karibu Dr. George Njoroge.
Thank you. Thank you, our CEO. Working. Thank you, our CEO, our chief guest, ICT, CS Honorable Joe Mushero, our KUTRAH chairperson, chairperson to the board, Professor Ori Mugenda, distinguished guests, and all my KUTRAH colleagues. Now, this is a great day for all of us as we witness this launching of our Medical Innovation and Accelerator Hub, a hub that will incubate high-value innovators in Kenya and beyond. What I would like to start with is to say that we are living in a very exciting time in the history of mankind, when great advances in science and technology have been made. Just to mention a few of them, the sequencing of human genome, which was done in the 80s by Craig Venter and his colleagues. They sequenced about 30,000 genes from chromosomes, and those had about 3 billion base pairs. Information that was obtained from those genes, from those base pairs, will allow us in the medical area to come up with new medicines for diseases. And using what we call now the big data and artificial intelligence, we are now capable of getting our big dreams out there and getting big technological breakthroughs come through. So what we need, as I tell my colleagues, are these big dreams. And I can mention a few things that have happened in the world, just to show some of those possibilities that can happen. In January of 1976, a scientist by the name of Herbert Hoyer had written a paper on recombinant bacteria, a work that was received very well. And one day he received a call from a young venture capitalist called Robert Swanson. who was interested in that discovery. Swanson offered Harvard $500 to take that invention. They both made an agreement. And from that agreement, a company was created. And that company today is called Genentech. And Genentech is the one that invented the drug Herceptin. Our physician here will know it as trastuzumab. That's a drug for breast cancer. And they also came up with the drug Avastin, also for cancer. Those two drugs generated about greater than $500 billion. And it was from that invention of Dr. Herbert Hoyer. Now, just to come a little bit closer to where we are, similarly, and our CS will relate to this, a similar story was true for a student called Larry Page, and a graduate student at Stanford University in California, who in 1995 was looking for a place to do his graduate studies at Stanford and met this guy, Sergey Brin. They together talked a little bit, and they both put together a company to organize world information and make it universally accessible and useful. This culminated the formation of Google, and which caught the attention of a Silicon Valley investor, son, who wrote a check for them for $100,000. Today, Google is a $1 trillion company, not shillings, $1 trillion company. So the point I'm trying to make is that it can be done. It has been done somewhere, and it can be done here. I'm familiar with these stories because I've worked with various companies in the US, came up with invented a drug that was sold for over $1 billion. And that's why I truly believe here in Kenya, we have the brains and what it takes to come with these breakthroughs. We need just to put ourselves into this in the areas of diagnostic, in the areas of the therapeutics, in the areas of devices, so that we can come up with what we call, with the technologies, disruptive technologies, things that will take us a notch higher. And that is what we are confident that we can do it here when we can incubate those innovators who have ideas, give them some seed money, and allow them to get to the next level where they can come with medical innovations that would be commercialized. And that would be useful not only for Kenya, the region, and the rest of the world. So our guest speaker, our guest CS, Muchero, I really am very, very happy because I know you're an innovator, and I'm happy you've come to grace this occasion, and God will bless it, and we will go very far. Thank you very much.
Our chief guest, KUTRH, is encouraging innovation from practicing health providers. And this is not just for healthcare providers and clinical staff from our facility. We welcome collaborations with even other healthcare providers in all other hospitals within and without our country. So kindly allow me to invite one of our pre-launch incubatees, Dr. Jeremy Gitao, to give us a few words. Thank you.
Our chief guest, Cabinet Secretary John Muchero, Chair of the Board, Professor Ali, our CEO, and Dr. Victor Jones, board members, hospital management team, staff, and our guests. Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Jeremy Getao. I'm an emergency care specialist working here in the hospital. For me, this is a great opportunity to be one of the incubatees. It's an idea that we've developed while we're still working here when we realized there was a gap, especially now in the era of COVID-19. We've seen how it's become very difficult for patients to access hospitals. And our idea came up as a medical logistics company, where our idea is to actually be the connection between the patient who is at home and the hospital that is now KU TRRH. So we're able to assist the patient when they're at home, and we're able to bring them either medication, take their lab tests, and that way we're able to bring the care to the patient, and encouraging what has been the core business of the hospital, which is the patient-centered services. So as medical logistics, that's what we intend to do, and we are happy to be given the opportunity to incubate the idea, and we are looking forward to even working with the Ministry of ICT, where we know they recently launched the postal addresses for all Kenyans, so it will be very easy even for us to access patients who are far away, meaning that our services will not only be located in one area, you can actually reach people at the comfort of their homes. So asante sana for the opportunity, and we are grateful to the hospital for actually setting up this, because I know there are many young people out there who would like to innovate, but they don't have a space. And I'm glad I was chosen to be among them. Asante sana.
Waziri, innovators require support from various different sectors. It straddles banking, insurance, intellectual property rights, legal, among others. Allow me to invite two experts to give their brief remarks. I'll start with Mr. Cliff Oso from Mindray, Kenya.
Our guest of honor, Honorable C.S. Joe Vitero, the CEO, KU TRRH, Dr. Victor Jones, doctors and other staff present, other invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Cliff Oso, and I am honored to be with you here today on this very important occasion to present Mindray Medical. Here with me from Mindray is Engineer James Masisa. He was introduced before. And I would like to say that Mindray Kenya is a fully fledged office. Others are within the country doing what they love to do best, giving solutions to institutions like KU TRRH. Mindray Medical has been partnering with the KU TRRH since its inception, and we are still working together to make sure we realize the goals that we have in mind when we agree to work together. Theodore Levitt, a renowned economist, said, creativity is thinking up new things. Innovation is doing new things. I think it's a good time that we gather together to think on how we can make what has been brought as a new thing in our midst, so that we make sure that we do it together, that tomorrow we'll see the fruit. We as Mindray believe in growing together, and our primary goal is to make sure the solutions we give are geared towards better healthcare for all. Therefore, we empower healthcare institutions so as to ease healthcare delivery, including diagnostics, surgical, critical care, emergency, and general health care in medical institutions such as KU TRH. Minded believes that doctors and nurses should invest their time in ensuring patients under their care get well and healthy fast. This can only happen when these frontline healthcare workers are well trained to be able to operate the deployed equipment with ease. For example, they should be well trained to understand how to operate ventilators appropriately to save lives. When I first visited this hospital, most of the rooms were empty with no equipment. But with the continuous improvements and investment, the correct equipment, investing in correct equipment, it has reached where it is now, and this is a commendable effort on the part of the hospital. We as Minded, we continue supporting KUTRH where we can. We are here with you, and we are in together. Minded is available and will always be available to continue partnering with KUTRH to achieve its objectives. This is not the time to stand by the fence and look at what is happening, but to roll our sleeves and search for a better tomorrow. The best way to predict the future is to create it. This was said by Alan Kay, a computer scientist. Let's create the future together now. Otherwise, thank you, Ebo KU management team. Thank you, honorable guests. Thank you all.
Very much, Patrick. Guest, I'll pick up Engineer Benson Karaoke, an expert in intellectual property right and commercialization, to give his brief remarks.
Guest, Chair of the board of KUTRH, CEO KUTRH, or invited guests, good morning. My name, as you have been told, is B.K. Kariuki. I'm a senior lecturer in the Department of Mechanical Engineering at Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, and I'm also the Director of Intellectual Property Management at the same university. Within the short time I have been given, I want to relate intellectual property with innovation. I'll do that very briefly, and I want to first of all define innovation in the terms that I know are simple. Innovation is the transformation. I want you to take this. Innovation is the transformation of an idea or an invention into a tradable product or service, or into a new manufacturing or distribution process, or into a new way of providing a service. That is the simplest way I've found to define. You'll not find it so much in so many other places, but I know if you take that one, maybe you wait for 1 year, you take it to the bank, you actually see it is the truth. It's the truth. Innovation is not about maybe invention or science or technology. It's about application of knowledge. Knowledge which is acquired through the learning process, all the way from kindergarten. Let nobody cheat you that knowledge that is important is the only one that is acquired at the university, because that's why you have gone wrong. Is about knowledge which is acquired through the learning process, all the way from kindergarten. So a kindergarten fellow has some new knowledge which they can use their brains to do something. It can be picked by somebody who has got bigger knowledge to actually grow it, and so on and so on. So by the time you reach to a professor, that thing will be a big thing. And that is one of the things that sometimes in this country we are missed. And that is one thing that we should get if we really want to get our country into the right path. It is also maybe knowledge that is acquired through research or experience, or when you are like me, from patent information search. Most of the things that you see which are problematic in the world today, They must have happened sometimes back. Somewhere they must have occurred. And somebody actually did research and they put the documentation together and then they put somewhere in a database. And you can retrieve that information and use it to actually solve your problems. That is one thing, again, we don't do in this part of the world. You will find it today being done in places like Korea, Japan, and those other places. Why do we need to innovate? We need to innovate because their challenges are coming in. All the time we have got challenges. Like now in the area of medicine, it has to do with the area is struggling with issues to do with cancer, malaria, diabetes, COVID, and other NCDs. And it is estimated that maybe it's forecast that in 2030, about 75% deaths will come from NCDs alone. So there is need for people to sit down and actually get working to actually ensure that we have got treatment for those things. I've said innovation has to do with the transformation of an idea or an invention. Where do ideas or inventions come about? How do they come about? About the mind. The other day I asked a student, what do you understand by the word intellect? And then they went round and round. Something simple is about the mind. It's about the mind. So if you remove something, if something arises from the mind, it is called intellectual property. It is called intellectual property. It's arising from the mind. Simple. It's not a lot of stories about whatever. And you can get rights for whatever you have brought out from your mind. So every time you hear intellectual property, the first thing you should think of is the mind. The mind. And there's so many opportunities or so many things that you can bring out from the mind to solve problems in the societies, create industry, and all other things so that the people we are educating can get jobs and also we can create wealth. So it is driven, the thinking, because it's a question of thinking, it's a function of thinking. Intellectual property is a function of thinking. It is driven by new knowledge. And that is the new knowledge all the way from kindergarten all the way to upwards. Desire to solve problems, investigation, research, tapping ideas from customers, imagination, exposure, inspiration, and curiosity. And we cannot say that we don't have these things in place. And why do we keep, then you ask yourself, why do we keep on driving other people's vehicles, flying other people's airplanes, and whatever? We have got that, but maybe we have not packaged that knowledge in a manner that can be consumed by industry or the society can do that. And that is what is done using an intellectual property system. An intellectual property system, when you do research, in most cases we package our results in form of publish in a journal. But there's another avenue where you publish through intellectual property system, where you try properly what you have actually come up with and what you think is yours. What do you claim out of this? And I think Dr. Jaroga is very much aware of this. He has got a number of patents. I've been following him very closely in social media, and I know he has produced patents and things like that. So if a country does not actually engage, you do not engage your people in thinking, driven by all what I have said, and producing intellectual property, acquiring intellectual property rights, then you have nothing to commercialize, and chances are that your country will be poor and for a very long time. If you look at countries like Korea, Japan, China, or everybody else, all what they got right is the word intellectual property. And every time they keep on ensuring that. That is what, including their curriculum, it goes into their curriculum. Very few have got an intellectual property management mechanism. In Kenya, I think, out of the 70 universities in Kenya, both private and public, only 3 universities, I think, have got a properly or an elaborate intellectual property management system, and that is JQuat, that is Strathmore, and that is University of Nairobi. KU used to be there, but I think they have gone down a little bit. I don't know what happened, and their office has not been really functional. You know all that because we are in that field. Now, if you want to manage intellectual property, there are tools that you have to use amongst through. You need an intellectual property policy, which will define clearly the owner of the intellectual property, how the intellectual property will be maintained, and the incentive to the inventors and innovators. They have to come out very clearly. Then the other thing you need are standard operating procedures. About a minimum of 4, 1 to to actually guide on disclosure of invention. Another one to guide on intellectual property rights acquisition, because acquisition of intellectual property rights you have to link with the national IP granting agencies like KIPI, KECOPO, KEFIS, and so on. So you need about 4, and then you need another procedure for commercialization of intellectual property. That is where you have missed it. People have got intellectual property, it's not commercialized, you are not seeing it in the supermarket, you are not seeing it in form of a piece of cloth, not in form of a car, not in form of a machine, and all those kind of things. You need to get it right. And so for KURIH, the innovation hub you are coming with, you would have to formulate an IP policy. If you don't have that one, then you will be in a lot of difficulties as you try to carry out your innovation. And right now, NACOST is actually, has come up with a guideline of how intellectual properties policies should be done, and you get a link with them, you can link with them. Then the infrastructure that is required, you need IP office with a liaison function to link with IP rights granting agencies and the society in large. Then you need a function of actually scanning through all the intellectual property, all the patents which have been done since the intellectual property systems were created, and then you get information from them. Then you need competent staff. You need about maybe a minimum of 4 or things like that, if you really want to get it right. I think I will end it at that point. My time is up. When I get time some other time, you engage. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Engineer Kariuki. You spoke like a real lecturer. You started by definitions. And we'll take you up on your offer, and we'll definitely reach out to you to tap into your knowledge into this whole area of intellectual property rights. And I'd also like to say that probably we also be told to have an intellectual property hub, and called an innovation hub in the country. And we hope to actually move forward with this. I'd like to recognize the miner from Varia. It's been very instrumental in supplying us with a Varian machine for the LINAC machine, linear accelerator, for treatment of cancers. At this point, I'd like to invite Mr. Benson Muthendi, the CEO of National Youth Enterprise Development Fund, to give his very brief remarks. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our chief guest, Mr. Joe Mushero, CS for ICT, Innovation and Youth Affairs, where the Youth Enterprise Development Fund is domiciled. Chair of the board, Professor Oliver Mugenda, CEO, Dr. Victor Jom, members of the board, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. The Youth Enterprise Development Fund provides financial support and business development services to youth-owned enterprises. And part of the business development services that we provide is incubation and mentorship of youth ideas and youth innovations. We indeed have worked in the past with a sister organization to this hospital, that is Kenyatta University, at the Chandaria Business Incubation and Innovation Center. Indeed, when Professor Mugenda was the Vice Chancellor at the university, and through that partnership, we have helped to mature innovations that are today providing solutions to some of the challenges that are facing this nation. We note with appreciation the launch of this medical innovation and accelerator hub, and we will play an active role through financing and other solutions. And we are looking forward to engaging so that we can structure interventions that we as the Youth Enterprise Fund can be able to play an active role in ensuring that the ideas we have seen and others that will come through the center bear fruits. Increasingly, we are getting applications from young people who are within the health sector, and we see now this as a new opportunity to be able to get into innovations that would provide more efficient services and probably be able to reach a wider population. We have a responsibility to support our young people because our young people have not let us down. There is a way when young people are supported, they change the way people do things. Those of you who are a bit older, you will remember people listened to music from Michael Jackson and so on. But because our young people entered that space, today people listen to local music. Our young people, when we send them to the Olympics, for instance, we are able to become number 1, 2, 3 in the entire world. So even through these innovations, if we're able to support our young people, they are able to occupy a similar position in the world if we support them. So on my behalf and on the behalf of the institution, in the presence of my boss, I want to pledge our support. We look forward to engaging so that we see what role we can play. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Muthedi. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate the support of Professor Olive Mugenda, our board of directors, and I can see Madam Pauline Mshara, karibu sana. Our partners, all our partners, the management of the hospital, all our staff who work tirelessly in this facility to keep up the good name that we already have, and who have worked tirelessly to achieve the vision of KUTRLH. On behalf of the hospital management, we promise to make this medical innovation and accelerator hub vibrant and relevant to healthcare in Kenya and beyond. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now my pleasure to invite our very, very active chairperson of the board of directors, Professor Olive Mugenda, to address the gathering. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. John, our chief guest, CS Joe Mushero, members of the hospital board, acting CEO, and members of hospital management, invited guests as listed by Dr. John earlier on. And in that list, I would like to also include CEO Kipra and also Dr. Kimani of Government Chemist, and also Mr. Raja Patel, Chief Manager, Crown Pains, and also Dr. Mubura, the CEO of Kiambu Hospital, and many others that maybe came later and we are not able to mention them. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. We are very, very honored. Members of staff, our both administrative and medical staff who are here, ladies and gentlemen. Let me first welcome our chief guest, CS Mushero, and all of you to this function. And thank you for joining us as we mark another important milestone in this hospital. We know, CS, you are very, very busy. I know you only have probably less than an hour for you to go to another function, so we will not keep you for long. But I want to thank you for accepting to come and officially launch this medical innovation and accelerator hub. The hospital board appreciates the great support we have received from you. CS, you remember, even when we started thinking about the hospital information system, I came to you for advice because we wanted to get the best. And I'm sure you have seen that we eventually got it, and thank you very much for your support, CS, and advice. Our chief guest, my idea, because I must say that I really kept thinking about it, and then of course sold my idea to my able members of management. So my idea of medical innovation hub was inspired by the Shadaria Innovation Hub that we started at Kenyatta University, as has been mentioned before, where we started it, and I did to make sure it doesn't go down. I don't know what's going on. Make sure it keeps going up. But we had benchmarked with the world-class innovation hubs, and this time what we decided to do is to add
the word accelerator, and I was very keen. I remember Dr. Cura, I remember we discussing, and I told him we must add the word accelerator, because we don't just want to innovate, but we also want to accelerate the ideas to the next level in terms of scaling up, and hence the term accelerator in the name of our innovation hub. The biggest challenge CS that we have with the existing innovation centers is lack of space to go once the products mature. We faced this problem at KU. We had a very successful Shadari Innovation Center. I think it was the first in the country in a university. And we came up with brilliant ideas with very many companies, but we realized that those companies didn't have a place to go once the ideas were properly incubated. So we hope to address that issue now by then having a place where we can accelerate these ideas. And we hope that through the government, CS, through you, and through other capital venture experts, we can have our products developed and scaled up, both locally and also globally. So my idea of this center, CS, is founded on my knowledge of huge gains that are derived from such efforts. And as Dr. Jeroge has explained, and before I even continue, I would like to acknowledge Dr. George Jeroge. I don't know where he is there. And I would like to tell this audience that I guess people don't talk about themselves, but Dr. Jeroge led a team in the US that discovered the vaccine for hepatitis C. And we are very, very honored to have him in our team. And it's not just the vaccine for hepatitis C. He also, as I think Dr. Kariuki said, he has like 100 patents in the US. I mean, that is really commendable. And I don't know why he has not been given honorary degree. I hope Kenyatta University will consider that, because that's really, we are very proud of you, Daktari, and thank you for joining us. So my idea, as I said, came from benchmarking, and I actually did a bit of research before I sold the idea to my members of management. Such medical innovation centers are found in places like US. I know I checked the Boston Children's Hospital Innovation and Digital Health Accelerator, that is in Boston. The accelerator offers consulting, technology evaluation, project management, startup strategy, and informatics related to population health and social media. So it's something that is happening elsewhere in the world, and I'm happy that this hospital will be the first one, CS, to come up with this kind of center. The other one we checked and we benchmarked with is the Innovation Studio at Children's Hospital Los Angeles. The center convenes internal and external communities to design, incubate, accelerate, and operationalize new processes and technologies that solve complex problems and transform care delivery models in pediatrics. So again, CS, this is where we are heading, that hopefully we can come up not just with products, but also with systems and processes that can improve the way we do things. And we really want to do things differently, CS. We want to really do better than public institutions and even private institutions. And I think what we are doing is what can help us get to that. The other institution that we benchmarked with CS is Mayo Clinic Center for Innovation. This is an innovation within the hospital. It combines design thinking principles with the scientific method to create patient-centered healthcare delivery solutions. And our logo CS here is patient-centered, quality patient-centered care. So you can see we may be the first ones maybe in Kenya to come up with a medical innovation hub, but we are not the first one in the world. I mean, you can see all these hospitals with these innovations. The last one CS that we checked, and I actually bought this book, give it to members of management to read it. It's New York University Dragon Health Technology Hub. Actually, the book is called World Class, and it's talking about this hospital, which started from a very poor hospital to a world-class hospital. And they have this, as I said, health technology hub. And this is a resource for inventors within and outside the health system to share ideas. The hub connects innovators with this digital health ecosystem and provides new technologies, data science, and user-centered designs to help them bring ideas to fruition. So with those ideas I see as elsewhere, not in Kenya, but I'm sure we'll be able to learn from what they are doing and even maybe improve and come up with the first medical innovation hub for products and processes. And you said something very important, Dr. Jeroge, that it's not just for money, because I've seen Stanford, and I was talking to the CS earlier on because I think he has more experience with Stanford University, where they are making millions and millions of money. And my vision, CS, is that even in future, 50 years, 20 years, even when we are not here, this hospital will be one of the richest institutions in the country because of royalties that will be derived from products that will come. Because I'm sure with the kind of youth that we have, and CS, you are familiar because you're in that ministry, we have very good innovative youth. And if you give them the opportunity, the ideas, and the platform, and we, of course, we benefit from royalties, we could also end up not only helping them, but also making sure that this university in future will not need any government funding because we'll be having a lot of money. That is my dream, and because that money then will increase or rather improve the services. And there's so much we can do, of course, when the resources are available. So that is where we are headed as CS, and I'm happy that you are here to witness this. So even when we come to you for support, at least you know what we have in mind, sir. So we already have sponsorship packages, and we are looking for sponsors, and depending on their sponsorship, we are hoping we will get anchor accelerators, so that if, for example, a company, big companies like GE or Philips and others that would want to come here, we can give them a bit of space, and they can help mentor the upcoming innovators. The way we did it in KU, CS, and I hope we can do it here, we had even rooms for business advisors, so that if a young innovator wants something, then we had these experts come and tell them, okay, this is the way you do it, or this doesn't make economic sense, or it makes economic sense. We even had other people we call distinguished mentors, and this included really very experienced business people like SK Masharia and others, and they were very willing, even if they are busy and they have made their money, they were still willing to come and actually talk to these young people, either here or in their offices. And you still follow these ideas and make sure that our people who come here are properly mentored, so they can also be the big business people in the future. So the anchor accelerator will help us in mentoring the incubatees who will be hosted in this hub. We hope to partner with government through UCS, and especially your ministry, to make this effort successful. When products are innovated, they will help Kenya hospitals and hospitals worldwide, thus saving resources. A lot of non-farm equipment and gadgets we are importing from outside CS, they were also innovated by people like us, and there's no reason why we can't also innovate these people so we don't have to import them from outside. So the government and your ministry will be delivering on your mandate if this effort is also successful, because I know, especially you but in particular, CS, we are very keen in youth and innovation. Consequently, the government and other partners, we are requesting for support in provision of some seed money to help the innovators develop and scale up products. A bit of seed money will go a long way in ensuring we take off successfully, even as we build as engineer has said, we eventually build the industrial park where these can be scaled up to. For the innovators, we will protect their intellectual property rights. We are in the process of hiring this particular person to do this. But meanwhile, Dr. Kira is able to do that, but you get the right office, and we will get and these innovators will get the right percentage of CS according to the agreement that we are going to have, so that they can also improve their quality of life and that of their families, and they also join the prestigious class of innovators. For this hospital, as I said earlier, we are going to benefit eventually from the royalties, But more importantly, we are going to benefit from the quality services from these products or services. And of course, we also take a share of that percentage because of giving the platform. But that will be properly negotiated and discussed. And I'm sure there are formulas, right? Some formulas, even your government, I'm sure CS has got some formulas we can use. And for the government, of course, you benefit from skilled up services, because for the government, they look at the whole universal health care, and therefore, whatever we do, if you can skill it up, it benefits the government and the citizens. And of course, the youth in the country, and I know from what I've been hearing, His Excellency talk about the youth in the country, we are very, very key, and the government is focusing on them, of course, through your ministry, CS, and to have an outlet to try their innovation and improve their livelihoods and quality of life. So CS, we are targeting gadgets and equipment medical professionals use, which are not available in Kenya and which can be made locally. We are also targeting processes and systems that can make the medical work easier. Like what Dr. Jeremy has is not a gadget, it's a system. So not only are we looking for gadgets and equipment, but also systems and processes that can help us do our work better. So we intend to give the professionals a framework to innovate these products and processes to save money, which we use a lot of foreign exchange that is used to get these gadgets from outside. Hopefully we can change that around. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will stop here for now and say that on behalf of the board of directors, some of who are here, we will continue supporting this hospital. We, as Dr. John said, we do more than an ordinary board because this is a new hospital. So CS, we are very, very involved. We are hands-on because we want to make sure that the vision as envisaged some years back is well delivered. So the board will continue to increase the services that we render to the public. And as the CEO has said, we have already opened our clinics, and we have been hiring doctors and nurses to manage those clinics, and they are already becoming very busy. So we are happy to serve. We are happy to see this hospital become world class. Some of us are really committed to make sure that happens. And I want to take this time to thank also the management and also the staff, both administration and also medical staff in this hospital for your hard work. We cannot make this hospital world class without your support. So I want to thank you on behalf of the board, and also thank my board members, my able board members, always available, CS, even after this we are meeting, so that we can make sure that we make these good decisions on behalf of the people of Kenya to make sure that we have one of the best hospitals in the region. So I'll stop there, CS, and it is now my pleasure to invite you, Cabinet Secretary, Minister of ICT, Innovation and Youth Affairs, Mr. Joe Moshero, to address this gathering and officially launch the Medical Innovation and Accelerator Center. Thank you.
Asante sana. Please this seat. I don't. There are so many doctors here. Am I far enough to remove my mask, or I should wear it? I can remove. That's official from the doctors. And if that doesn't work, there's a hospital next. But I mean, the innovation, I'm seeing myself in the research and innovation side. So the chairperson, Professor Olin Mogenda, and members of the board of Kenyatta University Teaching, Referral and Research Hospital, KUTRH, Dr. Victor John, the CEO. Let me also recognize Dr. George Joroge. And really, Prof, it is great that we're not only focusing on youth, but we're bringing the wealth that we have as a country. People with so much experience, and I've seen that as a very big part. So I recognize you all with the expertise you have brought, the hospital management and staff, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is still morning. Good morning to you. It is indeed a great honor and pleasure for me to join you at the opening of the Medical Innovation and Accelerator Hub. While we have many innovation hubs in the country, this one is unique, and it is because it specifically and locally developed medical interventions that it's focusing on. And these are to focus on the challenges that we have not only here in Kenya, but also globally, so that we can begin to even export some of these technologies. I note that the hub is fully aligned with the hospital's mission of enhancing the quality of life through the provision of patient-centered and evidence-based healthcare. And I also note that the hub is consistent with the President's and government's Big Four agenda, which is hinged on accelerating innovation and entrepreneurship. Ladies and gentlemen, necessity indeed has proved to be the mother of invention, especially with the disruption of the world's healthcare systems and economies by COVID-19 pandemic. At a time where borders and trade routes were being closed and a sense of panic and despair engulfed the world, great minds in Kenya rose to develop new technologies in response to the pandemic. The country moved from relying on international manufacturers to embracing local innovations that have ensured our needs are met. Manufacturers such as Kikotech and Rivertex took up production of face masks and other PPEs for mitigating the potential crisis that we're facing. More impressively, as the demand for ventilators surged, students from your parent university, this is a Kenyatta University, developed a prototype ventilator, which I am informed is in its final trial and testing stages before deployment. Indeed, it's only 2 weeks ago that the same group of students were feted by the United Nations by being awarded the UN Kenya Persons of the Year Award as the guest of honor for that, and I actually gave them the prize. And it was great to see young, enterprising men and women who really have a passion for innovation and growth. And this again is what's coming out of our universities, and in this case from KU. And I laud them for this remarkable feat that they have achieved. As a ministry, we recognize the critical role played by science and technology and innovation. One of the foundations of Kenya's Vision 2030 is wealth creation and building of human capital required for our country's transition to a knowledge-based and knowledge-driven economy. Research and development has proven to be critical in accelerating economic growth in all emerging economies globally. Innovations are themselves a precursor to wealth creation. No society can gain social cohesion if some members continue living in abject poverty. For this reason, the government has supported innovators through policy and funding, especially the vulnerable groups. The innovations are a testament that Kenyans are hardworking and resourceful individuals with a strong and resolute work ethic. The tour evoked memories of the recent Innovation Symposium that was graced by His Excellency the President at Manyani in Taita Taveta County. During that symposium, we witnessed phenomenal innovations, conceptualized, built, and developed by young Kenyans, all aimed at addressing the needs within our country. Indeed, this shows that as a country, we can innovate and drive our growth by leveraging the potential that lies with our local human capital. Instead of being importers of technology solutions, we now have our footing firmly in place to grow our technology and export it globally. Let me say the innovations that we have seen, and especially those that we saw in Manyani, they go straight to some of our biggest challenges. The young people there, for instance, have mapped the whole country. The maps we were using before, the newest maps, were 1972. So you can imagine all the development that had been done. You're referring to 1972 maps. I'm happy to say that we had done some work on maps when I was at Google. We had students from JKUAT who came and we began to map the continent. I think when we started in 2007, Nairobi had 2 roads. There was Uhuru Highway, which passed through State House, and I think there was another one, Mombasa Road. But after the students were through with the whole program, we had very rich maps, which is why you see companies like Uber are able to operate global and all that using the mapping. But we now have our own homegrown maps that will rival even Google and other maps that show the different layers of different services that are provided within the country, that the counties can use for revenue management, that they can use for planning, and for many, many things, all these different layers. So I'm very pleased that today we are at a place where we can now do the same level of innovations in the healthcare sector. And Prof, other than making money and the innovations and being able to export them, you know, a healthy nation is one of the greatest assets that we can have. And I would say that is another big addition that I've seen that this hospital is able to provide for this country. That through the work that is going on, and very impressive. I mean, I came here when the launch was happening, we came with the president, and you know, there's so many buildings. And I was saying earlier that, you know, many times people build things, then they rest, and then they take time to actually start. I'm very impressed with the board and the management. You've been able to not only launch, but you've actually already begun to utilize. And it's an open secret that if you have COVID, this is the place you should come to. If you don't get here, then, and I'm not speaking officially, that is just rumors that are out there. Any hospital is a good place to go for treatment. So these innovations that we're seeing here are great innovations. For example, there's the innovation of calorie tracking systems. There's the new exercise modules that will boost reduction of lifestyle diseases. We have seen the logistics innovation that has been discussed. There's also innovation I've seen to do with the management of oxygen or gas within the hospitals. All this will drastically improve the early detection of conditions, whether it is the reduction of oxygen or when the lifestyle diseases are coming, and you can be able to take care of them. We've seen locally assembled technologies which will not only increase access, but also reduce the cost of healthcare provision. And so this hub and accelerator will continue to significantly grow the vision that the country has.
The objective of providing a world-class healthcare in Kenya and the region. Kenyatta University Teaching, Referral and Research Hospital was the brainchild of Professor Olive Mugenda, who initiated the preparation of the proposal and leading her team from Kenyatta University in making a case for the hospital through the Minister for Finance, who is now the current President, President Uhuru Kenyatta. The government approved a government-to-government loan from China Exim Bank for construction and equipping of the hospital. The hospital was constructed and equipped at a cost of 8 billion Kenya shillings.
I'm very delighted to see a vision that we started 10 years ago being actualized and saving lives, particularly at this time of COVID-19 pandemic.
It was the founder's vision to establish a world-class healthcare facility which will reduce to the barest minimum traveling out of Kenya for medical care abroad and at the same time attract medical tourism from other countries in Africa. Our vision is to be a premier national referral hospital renowned for clinical excellence, medical training and research that enhances quality of lives for Kenyans and the regional citizens. Our mission is to enhance quality of lives through provision of quality, patient-centered and evidence-based healthcare, training, innovation and state-of-the-art technology. Built and benchmarked with international standards to provide world-class healthcare. It is headed by a team of dedicated, experienced and qualified doctors supported by a professional cadre of trained nurses and paramedic staff. KUTRRH houses advanced and sophisticated clinical and surgical facilities, providing comprehensive care to address all aspects of health, from prevention to diagnostic and treatment to rehabilitation. Deliberately and carefully built in the fabric of KUTRRH is quality. The KUTRRH Board of Directors is responsible for the management and administration of the hospital. The major directorates of the hospital are Clinical Services, Nursing Services, Corporate Services and Administration, Finance Strategy and Planning, Training, Research and Innovations. At KUTRRH, we believe quality is never an accident but a premeditated effort. The hospital is among few in the region to function with full-time doctors system that assures doctors' availability around the clock, giving dedicated time and attention to patients.
We mainly deal with offering clinical services and ensuring that all patients are treated accordingly. My division is very wide and it encompasses a lot of various disciplines, majorly of which is oncology services, accident and emergency, trauma and orthopedics, where we are able to perform surgeries. We have a fully established pharmacy which is able to provide nearly all kinds of drugs. In terms of laboratory, the whole pathology area, we have a well-equipped laboratory. We are able to do state-of-the-art tests.
The highly sophisticated medical center shall offer quality medical care within the following units: outpatients, accidents and emergency, pharmacy and diagnostic imaging, inpatient services, pathology and lab medicine, critical care, medical and surgical, special internal medicine, oncology, renal and neurology, obstetrics and gynecological services.
As a hospital, and more specifically as a pharmacy department, we pride ourselves with offering high quality services because, as I mentioned, our staff are very highly qualified. Then number two, our drugs are of assured quality because of the kind of sourcing that we go through just to bring them to the hospital.
Critical care, medical and surgical. ICU HDU, KUTRRH has the highest ICU and HDU bed capacity among healthcare establishments in Kenya. There are 54 ICU beds and 10 HDU.
The beds are fully equipped with world-class bedsides where there is panels of sockets where we use to ventilate the patients. It has world-class machines for infusion of medications and drugs.
The Department of Anesthesia and Critical Care, we provide services in all these departments, especially theatre and the intensive care unit.
Oncology Cancer Unit. The ultra-modern oncology unit is a beacon of hope, health and happiness.
Our flagship project is Oncology Center, where we are dealing with cases of cancer. And we are undertaking very good services in radiotherapy and also radiology treatment with great outcomes.
The team of oncology specialists work together to develop individualized treatment plan for every patient with great results.
This team consists of the oncologists, the surgeons, the palliative nurses, our nutritionists, physiotherapy, the pathologist, and our oncology nurses. And once a week we have this meeting, the multidisciplinary team meeting, where we discuss the management of all the patients who were seen in the previous week so that we can make the treatment of every patient a focused and patient-centered treatment to target the specific needs of every patient.
We offer cancer care services across surgical, radiation, and medical oncology. Every unit is equipped to treat every type of procedure, including trauma and surgeries. The ultra-modern laboratories are equally proficient to delivering high standards of services.
And we have the best equipment that you can find in any part of the world, like Europe and USA. And that means that you are able to diagnose the most complicated diseases without sending samples outside the country. And it also means that we are able to give the best teaching and practical approach as far as the students are concerned.
The numerous conference halls equipped with teleconferencing facilities will enhance continuous medical education. Embracing new technologies to offer high-level healthcare that matches the best globally. Medicare is further supported by the availability of telemedicine to enable doctors consult with peers worldwide on real time, thus reducing the need to seek treatment abroad. It is expected that the hospital will provide the necessary environment and incentives for the conduct of biomedical research and clinical trials in order for our medical scientists to contribute to improved medical care and production of new pharmaceuticals. Kenyatta University Teaching, Referral and Research Hospital believes healing begins as soon as you arrive at the hospital. At the core of our new design, the idea of personalizing and humanizing the healthcare experience will be apparent at the hospital. Furthermore, the hospital premises provides a green, relaxed and soothing environment for healing and visits. Given the advanced facilities the hospital presently has, combined with the human resources being assembled to undertake medical care, research and training, we hope to meet the expectations of Kenyans in the provision of quality healthcare. KUTRRH is one of the main COVID-19 centers in Kenya, being used for the isolation and treatment of COVID-19 patients. However, we also offer medical services in oncology, renal, pediatrics, and other specialties. KUTRRH recognizes the need for collaborations and partnerships. This internationalization programs gives our doctors, staff, and patients the opportunity to interact with doctors and specialists from other parts of the world.
We're building strong partnerships, for example, the University of Manchester and the Christie Foundation in the UK. We also received 20 Cuban doctors that are helping us fight the pandemic. After that, they'll be deployed in the counties.
The new Kenyatta Memorial Funeral Home is open to the public. The support services which complement medical care in the hospital are Doctors Plaza, Staff Quarters, Academic Block, Laundry and Catering Services, Restaurants, Helipad, banks, among others.
If you look at the infrastructure around this hospital and you look at the keen interest that the government has, if you look at the keen interest that our Cabinet Secretary of Health has in this hospital, and if you look at the need in the market, in the region, and even in the locality for this hospital, it's very, very clear that if we get our act right, this is going to be a hospital that is a game changer in the region.
Kenyatta University Teaching, Referral and Research Hospital has continued to embark on projects aimed at providing quality healthcare. The ongoing projects include the construction of furnished hostels and apartments that shall provide accommodation within the hospital premises to patients and their families while undergoing prolonged treatment. An important ongoing project is the construction of the Integrated Molecular Imaging Center, IMIC.
We also today had the pleasure of laying the foundation stone for the soon-to-be Integrated Molecular Imaging Center. The hospital is beginning construction. The center will host a cyclotron machine, a PET and CT scanners. We have also laid the foundation stone for this hospital's hospitality center, which will cater for the accommodation and hospitality needs of patients and their families. The impressive equipment, infrastructure, broad services, service range, and highly trained staff. Indeed, I foresee the Kenyatta University Training, Teaching, Referral, and Research Hospital becoming a leader not just in this country, but in our region and also in the continent.
This iconic comprehensive cancer center shall provide medical relief to Kenyans and beyond.
This center will be the first public center in East and Central Africa, and will go a long way in helping Kenyans access the necessary treatment without having to go to other countries like India and South Africa. I would like to thank the President and the Minister of Health for their support and their interest in ensuring that this hospital becomes a center of excellence in Kenya and the region.
Given the advanced facilities the hospital presently has, combined with the human resources being assembled to undertake medical care, research and training, we hope to meet the expectations of Kenyans in the provision of quality healthcare.
Muhimu sasa na ya furaha ni kudeclare hospitali hii ambayo ndiyo Kenyatta University Teaching, Referral and Research Hospital officially open on this 10th day of September 2020.
Every year, some 3 million major operations are carried out in the UK.
Theatre doors are just here.
But few of us will know what really happens once we're put to sleep.
All right, all you've got to do now is think beautiful thoughts.
I don't think a patient can even comprehend what you're doing in theatre to them, and that's what the plan is, that they don't know what they've been through.
This series goes behind the theatre doors at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Birmingham.
Let's get cracking then. Right, okie dokes.
Where for the first time, cameras have been allowed to join some of Britain's top surgeons during their most high-stakes operations.
Should we go for it? We'll go for it.
Using new technology and pioneering skills, they're treating conditions that used to kill.
We continue to push the boundaries, continue to take the inoperable and make it operable.
This is surgery at its most experimental.
This is where I've got to get it right.
People didn't attempt this surgery a few years ago because it was just perceived as being too big, too difficult and too scary.
But pushing the human body to its limits comes with great risk.
Keep it together, keep it together, keep it together.
For the patients and the surgeons.
An operation will go wrong for a 30-second lapse of concentration.
It's work, because if it doesn't, I'm going to cry.
Things worry you, you get very worried.
This is going completely the wrong direction.
The trick is to not appear to be worried.
They need to be top of their game every time.
People often characterise surgeons as bombastic and arrogant.
Babcock, please, long one to me. Slap it in, sweetheart.
You've got to be dedicated to it, you've got to love it.
Oh my God! Jesus Christ. You're only as good as your last result.
This is what it takes to operate at the cutting edge of medicine.
You have to be jolly careful that you don't bugger it up.
It's do or die, really.
"6 a.m. at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Birmingham.
Hello, theatre reception.
Home to one of the biggest and busiest surgical units in Britain. 145 surgeons carry out over 35,000 operations a year, from organ transplants to brain surgery.
Anything else?
No, that's it, thank you.
Supported by an army of technicians, orderlies and nurses.
Right then, so let's work out what I need where.
Today, the 42 operating theatres will be used for 131 different procedures. Every theatre has its own list of patients, and most will host several minor operations lasting a couple of hours each. But Theatre 23 is booked out for the entire day for a single operation so difficult and complex it could last over 12 hours.
It's going to be a long day today, isn't it?
It is. The pressure's on.
The procedure needs not one, but two senior surgeons, Sat Palmer and Tim Martin.
A feature of these big operations, you talk about a 12-hour operation. Well, it's not just one operation. It's lots of little operations bolted together.
The fingers crossed we can finish
Well,
by 7
we should finish on time, unless, of course, there's any surprises.
Yeah. Problem with these long operations, it's both physically and mentally extremely tiring. How do we cope with it? I'm not really sure, but I think it's because, firstly, we work extremely well as a team.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. My relation with Sat Palmer is like man and wife. We just click straight away.
Sat and Tim are maxillofacial surgeons, specialising in head and neck cancers and facial reconstruction. In theatre they work side by side, all day long.
You can only work simultaneously if you totally trust your surgical colleague, and that's the case with Tim and I. We've been working for 14 years, and I have total faith in what Tim does, and hopefully he has the same with me.
Their operations are often the only hope for their patients. Today, that patient is 53-year-old care worker Teresa Dallas. Just 4 weeks ago, a scan revealed Teresa had a fast-growing tumour in her upper jaw.
It started with a pain in my face that I thought was an abscess on a tooth. So it was like dentist, doctor, dentist, and then the MRI scan came back showing up this mass in my face, right side face. When they just say that word cancer, it's like, oh my God. So it's, yeah, nobody wants to hear that.
Teresa will die unless the tumour is removed. She requires radical surgery, affecting the entire right-hand side of her face.
I will lose my right eye. My jaw, I believe the top jaw, will need to be removed. I'm prepared to give up my eye and my facial structure or whatever it is that I will have to give up. No, I'll take that because there isn't another option. Sit back and die, or just get on with it and make the best of whatever comes out of it, really. Best not think about that, I think.
Look at the tumour.
Teresa's surgery needs meticulous planning. Surgical simulation expert Hitesh Korea uses groundbreaking technology to turn CT scans into an exact 3D replica of Teresa's skull, with the tumour shown in pink.
That shows it well, doesn't it?
Well, ideally, how far back would you want to make the cut?
What we're going to have to do is take that half of the jaw out. And she's just a bit unlucky because the cancer's quite high up. So we've got to take the eye to try and ensure as much as possible that we've got the cancer out, really.
Sure. So if I take that away,
yeah,
you're left with that.
Perfect. That shows that we're actually clear of the cancer.
After removing the tumour, jawbone and her eye, they will try to reconstruct Teresa's face.
The face is really unique because it's a thing we probably all value the most. It's our appearance. So it's really critical for Teresa's quality of life that we can make the reconstruction work.
To replace what they remove, the surgeons hope to use a 6 by 4 centimetre flap of bone and muscle cut from Teresa's own hip.
I've just brought that hip in and try to position it as best as possible. Would you be okay with the contour of this?
No, yeah, I like that. That looks good.
They plan to precise measurements. Even so, until they do the actual operation, they won't know if they've got it right.
I know my dad, my brother and my mum were worried sick.
Since the diagnosis, her family have been hugely supportive, but Teresa is choosing to face surgery on her own.
Sometimes it's good to have people with you, but for me, not really what I want. Not at this moment in time, really. I've got a lot to think about. So I'd rather do it in my own little world on my own.
There is a significant chance Teresa could die on the operating table. Before going ahead, Sat must make sure she's willing to go through with it, despite the risks.
Good morning, Doctor.
Hi, Teresa. How are you?
Yeah, okay, I'm here.
It is big surgery because it will take us till probably about 6 or 7 this evening. You know, because of complications due to bleeding or chest infections, there's a risk you don't make it through the surgery. Anything you want to ask?
I don't think so.
Okay. A lot to take through. Having someone's fate in your hands is terrifying. The thing that helps me cope with it is knowing that if we don't offer these patients surgery, we know that the cancer's going to kill them. So in a way, we are their only chance.
It's all a bit scary. I just want it over with now. I just want to be knocked out, and then I just won't know anything, will I? So. And then hopefully the bonus will be if I wake up at the other side.
So the patient's name?
Teresa Dallas.
Sat, Tim and the team are ready to begin the operation.
Expected duration of the surgery?
Be nice to finish by 6:37 p.m.
6:37? Okay, I'll wager that 9 o'clock.
I'll need a stool to stand on.
Step ladder?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just sat.
Thank you. Lovely. With any big, long, complex operation, I always get butterflies before I start. But the moment I get knife to skin, I'm a lot more relaxed. Okay, knife please.
Both Sat and Tim know that in procedures like Teresa's, every decision counts.
An operation like this will truly go wrong for a 30-second lapse of concentration. And I know that sounds dramatic, but it's true and I've seen it.
Only a handful of surgeons at the Queen Elizabeth regularly take on these marathon operations. Consultant plastic surgeon Ruth Waters also specialises in procedures that take the best part of the day. They take so long because, like Sat and Tim, her job is to remove and rebuild using the patient's own body.
I wanted to be a plastic surgeon right from when I first started training as a doctor.
Ruth is an expert in a particularly complex type of breast reconstruction.
Everything about our bodies is important to our sense of self. And of course your breasts are so much more than that, because they say something about your femininity, you know, not just in a sexual way, but in just your image of yourself as a woman and feeling like a woman.
Ruth's patient today is 50-year-old Donna Wilson-Mills, who's come to hospital with her husband Rob.
You all right?
Coping.
Oh, good.
After multiple treatments for DCIS, the earliest form of breast cancer, Donna has made a monumental decision to have both of her breasts removed, a double mastectomy.
It was a no-brainer because I dad's radiotherapy, and you can't have radiotherapy again in the same breast. So there was no other choice really. If it come back again, I'd got to have a mastectomy in any case, so I opted for the double mastectomy. I'm worried today about the operation because it's so long, 8 to 10 hours operation, and being under anaesthetic that long. I'm a bit nervous about that, but apart from that, everyone assures me I'm going to be okay and asleep.
The operation will take so long because Donna will also have her breasts reconstructed. So Ruth will be joined by another plastic surgeon, Kate Nelson.
They're impossible. It's like a challenge trying to get these gowns on. There you go.
Few hospitals offer this procedure because unlike conventional operations that use implants, Donna's involves using tissue from her own body. As Donna's breast tissue is removed, 2 flaps of skin and fat are cut from Donna's abdomen. These are shaped and inserted into the cavities created by the mastectomies, giving Donna new breasts.
It's difficult to imagine it, isn't it?
Yeah,
that literally just gets pulled down, so this line meets that line.
Okay.
And this is all gone like that.
The operation lasts twice as long as one where implants are used. It carries a bigger risk, but Ruth believes it's worth it.
If you have your own skin and fat, it's wonderful because it mimics breast tissue so well. It has the same consistency, it's warm, it just behaves like you because it is you.
Okay, so we have to tell you about the risks. There's a bit of a long list of risks. Okay, so there's a risk of blood clots. There's a risk of chest infections and things like that.
You're not selling these, really.
It's a bad time to go through all this, isn't it?
It is really. Okay. That's fine.
Okay. A lot of surgeons tend to be big characters and be very, very confident. I don't think you necessarily have to be as sort of flamboyant as as some of the surgeons in the Dickie Bows kind of used to be. There's lots more down-to-earth people. You don't have to be from posh backgrounds. It's very important to be kind and compassionate and empathic.
I can't imagine even what it's going to look like after.
Yeah.
Just taking it as it comes, absolutely. Whatever.
Yeah.
I look like.
You'll look smashing, I'm sure we will.
Okay. You way back. It's not an easy choice. It's really hard. People say, you're making the right choice. Well, I haven't really got a choice.
So today we've just got one patient to do. She has chosen to have immediate breast reconstruction. From the surgical point of view, she's got a good scan and nice vessels, so we're happy with all that. Okay, thank you.
And then ready, steady, slide.
Donna's operation in Theatre 8 is so involved it requires 13 medical personnel. For Ruth, every procedure like this is personal.
I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2001. I had to go through that journey of the surgery and the chemotherapy, the radiotherapy. So I do understand what that diagnosis feels like, to be on the receiving end of it and having to make those decisions. And inevitably, that's part of my being a surgeon and how I treat my patients.
Okay, let's dance.
Whenever we discuss reconstruction with a woman, we have to say it's never 100%. So there will be times when this doesn't work and you may actually not end up with the reconstruction you were after. There's not that many women out there who are actually having to sit down and make that choice. The prospect of having both your breasts removed must be just enormous.
Hello.
Hi, I'm calling up for Theatre 3. Just wondering if you can get the next patient ready, please?
By late morning, the next wave of patients head to surgery.
Theatre doors are just here, so we'll let you say goodbye just before we go through.
In the QE's 42 theatres, everything from appendectomies to amputations are underway, as most surgeons start their second operation of the day. But in Theatre 23, they're still in the first stage of Teresa's facial operation.
Okay, have some skin hooks. In terms of Teresa's procedure, the likelihood of things going wrong is fairly high because of the complexity of the surgery.
To limit the time Teresa spends under anaesthetic, Sat and Tim operate on 2 different sites simultaneously.
Swap, please.
Sat on Teresa's hip, Tim on her face and neck.
Don't pull too hard, just stay nice and still.
They are both searching for the same thing, blood vessels that are essential to a successful reconstruction.
Clean swab, please.
Once the tumour is taken out, a flap of bone and muscle with blood vessels attached will be removed from Teresa's hip. The flap fits into the cavity created by the surgery. To keep the flap alive, its artery and vein are attached to another artery and vein in Teresa's neck. Everyone's anatomy is slightly different, so it's an intricate job to find and isolate the right blood vessels.
Any sign of the vessel yet, sir?
So I think that's the main DCIA going down, but I just can't tell for sure.
Sat is looking for the DCIA, an artery that runs alongside the hip. But it's buried deep within this mass of tissue, fat and muscle.
That's the main DCIA, I think. I suspect. But it's quite deep, but hopefully that will be it.
Clean swab, please. I think that's facial nerve branch just there going up into the flap, isn't it?
Having 2 major surgical sites is tougher on Teresa's body and tougher for Sat and Tim, who have to work literally shoulder to shoulder.
It's going to be cosy.
Am I in your way?
No, sorry mate. There'll be lots of other surgeons who just would not get on because of maybe arrogance, maybe egos. Sat, can I just have access for a sec?
Sorry.
I tend to be the grumpy one, but, you know, he puts up with it. Sorry, I was being a prima donna then.
Just then?
Yeah, just momentarily. I flipped into prima donna mode. Prior to that, I was a straightforward jobbing surgeon.
These are really quite high-stress cases, and things can go wrong, and when they do go wrong, they go wrong very quickly. I'm just struggling a little bit. You can see that's the DCIA here.
Yeah, there.
Yeah. And then it's just doing something funny here, and I'm not sure.
Sat finds the artery, but it doesn't look good.
It's not the best DCIA I've seen. Just very low in the hip. Really low in the hip. That's what's worrying me.
Blade, please.
At the other end, Tim's news is even worse.
Facial artery's tiny.
Is it?
Connecting the crucial blood vessels is going to be even harder than they thought.
The main challenges of operating on the hip for this procedure is that although it gives you great quality bone and great quality muscle, the blood vessels supplying that bone and muscle are extremely short. Careful, careful. If the flap blood vessels are too short, it means it won't reach the blood vessels in the neck, and you do have that panic thinking, I really hope we can make everything work.
In Donna's double mastectomy and breast reconstruction, plastic surgeon Ruth is on the hunt for Donna's blood vessels.
There, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She's looking for the artery and vein connected to the parts of Donna's abdomen they hope to use for the breast reconstruction.
Open a bit more, I think. You lift up the skin and fat until you get to this perforating blood vessel. Whoa. Look at that.
Lovely.
Stonking.
Ruth has better luck than Sat and Tim. The blood vessels are a good size.
Okay, guys. Kate.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Just look at this. Is that the best perforator you've ever seen?
Oh my word, that's lovely, isn't
that beautiful?
Yeah.
Right, okay, I better not mess it up now.
Once the mastectomies are performed, these blood vessels will be crucial to giving Donna natural breasts. The surgeons will try and connect the stomach flaps to blood vessels in Donna's armpits. Only then can the flaps be tucked under the skin, into the cavities, to rebuild Donna's breasts. First, Kate must meticulously remove all the breast tissue to help prevent Donna getting breast cancer in the future.
Yeah, that's got to go as well, hasn't it?
It's an operation where you're doing like a million strokes of the blade, but with every single one you've got to bear that patient in mind that you're taking absolute care to remove every single little bit of breast tissue that you could possibly can do. Particularly if you're doing something like a risk reducing where their whole sanity and confidence relies on the operation that you're doing right there and then for the rest of their lives.
Donna's left breast is entirely removed.
Yeah, so there should be a form for the left.
You just need to weigh in first, if that's okay.
It's weighed to determine how much fat will be needed from Donna's tummy to replace it.
What was it? 909.
A woman making the choice to have a double mastectomy could say, well, just take it away, that's fine, that's job done. But I think it's a so much easier decision to make if somebody can say to you, yeah, we can do that, but we can also make you look and feel like a woman looks and feels.
For the reconstruction to meet that high standard, Kate must take great care of the skin around the site of the mastectomies.
One of the reasons why we like to do the reconstruction at the same time as doing the mastectomy is that at that point you're able to keep the patient's own natural skin. You can keep the natural skin envelope with all the boundaries of that and the natural droop of the breast, which forms an envelope so that we then simply need to then put a filling inside that to give a natural shaped breast.
The filling will be the flaps of fat being cut from Donna's tummy.
How's it going? Good.
Fine, it's all pretty much done.
Right, so hopefully I'll just come through now.
There's the flap with the little blood vessel.
At the other end of the table, the first flap is taken to be weighed to ensure there's enough to replace the breast tissue.
1, 2, 3, 1.
The flap is now ready to be plumbed in by trying to attach the blood vessels to those at the mastectomy site.
Can we have the flap, please?
Now, it's a race against time.
Getting the vessels reconnected quickly is important. When we clip the vessels and take it off, so that's called flap off time, you have to be efficient in that time because all the time that the flap's off, it's not got any blood supply. It's like it's holding its breath, really. So we need to get it connected as quickly as we can.
The QE is renowned for its reconstructive surgery. Some of the most pioneering work is happening in the Burns Centre. Professor Stephen Jeffrey is one of their leading surgeons.
Burns obviously been around ever since mankind developed fire. We've been burning ourselves and we've been burning each other.
Okay, you can lift this leg up for me.
Burns have got devastating consequences. You can be left with horrible, disfiguring scarring. Sometimes the scarring is so bad that they're ashamed to go out. Sorry.
Stephen and his colleagues are always looking for new ways to reduce scarring.
The ancients used to use lots of different dressings, things that were naturally available. So